Okay, so I'm gonna change the ignition on this CB500. Um, it doesn't. It keeps shutting off because it's not making a good connection. Um, so the first thing to do is just unplug. So you'll just follow this wire down, and it comes down right here. Okay, so here's the connector. You're gonna push down on this little button here, and then just use your other hand to wiggle that off. Okay. Now ignition. Um, should look like this. And so I'll plug that in first and just verify that everything is working before we attach everything. So I plugged in my new one. I fed it through the. Oh no. You want tamales? Mexico. Okay, so now we have this new ignition. I plugged it in. I fed it through the arms back into the plug, which is right there. So we're just going to test it before we get started, just to make sure everything works. Nothing. Now, an issue I found is that these little connectors in here, even when I connected the new switch, it was still not making a good connection. It was off and on, and I wiggled it, and then I took a little flathead screwdriver, and I just went right in there and pried down on those to try to get those little connectors closer down so it makes a tighter connection, and that fixed that problem. But my ignition is still kind of bad, so I'm still going to replace the ignition. But even with the new ignition, it wasn't making a good connection. So you might want to make sure, if it's not making a good connection, just bend these down a little bit, and it should fix your problem. Okay, now I have some strange setups because I just have this big size wrench. But you're just going to need an extender and a 13 millimeter socket. And then you're going to go up in here underneath on the handlebar. You'll see that nut right there under there. And then take that off. Okay. Then once you get that loosened up, you can just turn that by hand. So that's your bolt right there. And you'll just and that's the bolt. Okay, so you'll just come in from the bottom. It's hard to see, but it's right up there besides the cables. Okay, so then you pull that other nut out, and then this should, and I found it, I just did this accidentally, but I left the keys in, and that kind of keeps it from falling on you. So that's kind of a clever idea. Put the keys in. You'll get that key out, and then this should just drop out. And then just pull that out to the bottom, and then the new one will just feed up in here. Okay, this is difficult to do with one hand, but I just push it up here, put the key in just to kind of hold it in place while I put the bolts in. The easiest way to do this is hard to see is just to do it by feel. You take the nut, you set it under here, find the hole, push it in, and then a good trick is whenever you're at the top, you want to turn clockwise to turn the thread in, but if it's facing you, just think counterclockwise because that will be clockwise from the bottom. So just feel it with your fingers and then turn it with your fingers that way. And then start the other one right in here. I found it was easier to come in from this side. Under here, maybe I can see this. Yeah, you can see right there. Right there, you can see that nut there. And that one. If you're facing it, you just kind of get it started, turning counterclockwise, which will be clockwise from the bottom. And then you'll get underneath with the extender and tighten them up. So it's a bit harder to get in there from the bottom. So seemingly the best way to get in is just with a small socket and then come in behind this this here and set it on there and just do it blind. Whatever side you're on, turn the steering wheel all the way to the other side, and then you can fit in here, get on that nut, and then you can get enough room to make your full ratchet. And then when you do the other side, turn the wheel to the left. And you're back on. So let's see. Everything should work. Boom. There we go. And that's how you replace the ignition.